everyone to Educational Webinars Jam. Today's presentation is done by Amna Moin. She is a project manager at Janabi Al-Janeen, freelance psychologist, founder at Healing Hub. Amna is master's degree in psychology, certified neuro-linguistic programmer, cognitive behavioral therapist, life coach for over 10 years. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar, and you are requested to please hold your answers by then. And then we are sharing a link which you can add your name and email for your certificates at the end. Amna, the floor is all yours, please. Welcome. Kindly unmute your mic, Amna. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Is it clear now?
That's fine. Perfect. Thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to switch on my camera just to welcome you all so that you know who is the speaker, just to connect with my audience. Okay, can everyone see me? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Webinar Jam. My name is Amna Moin. I am your speaker for today. And as you all know, we are going to talk a little about the mental health. And you all are welcome to give your feedback and raise your hands and write anything in the chat box. Maria will assist me for if there are any questions or anything. So shall I start now, Maria?
Please go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. First of all, I would like to elaborate why mental health, why I want to talk about this thing and why mental health is as important as physical health. The first thing is basically the reason is mental health is directly linked to our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. As you can see I will just keep on changing the slides. Yes. This is a statement by World Health Organizations. I hope you all can see my screen. There is no health without mental health. What does that mean actually? That means that poor mental health is a risk factor for the chronic physical conditions and similarly, and vice versa. Why vice versa? Because can anyone, I'll give you a statement and I would appreciate if anyone can give me some examples in the chat box. Like, for example, if you're continuously in stress or in anxiety or under pressure, can anyone tell that what kind of physical ailments or medical problems you can develop? I think it's a very common these days. Yes, anyone? Like you can say
Mr. Abu Bakr is saying doubt.
No, I'm talking about the physical ailments that are related to the stresses in our lives. What kind of physical problems we can develop if we are continuously under stress and anxiety and depression? We can have heart problem, we can have continuous headaches, we can have blood pressure issues, right? So these are the physical problems. If you are continuously under if you are continuously under pressure and if you are continuously under mental health conditions, you will get physical ailments. Okay, and vice versa. Similarly, if you are continuously in chronic ailment, if you are sick for a couple of months or if you are having a long sickness, it will give you mental health issues. Is it relatable? Yes, of course. Like for example, if you have continuously headache bouts or if you have continuous tummy pain, like kids often complain. So it is going to become a continuous annoyance for your health, right? For your mental health. It's going to make you get anxious all the time. You're not easy. You're not relaxed when you go somewhere. So this is you can say this is a link between your physical health and your mental health, that they are both dependent on each other. Okay. Now, the very famous quotation by Viktor Frankl. We will focus on this in our webinar today, basically. He said that an abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation is normal behavior. And he gave this statement while he was working in the Second World War in concentration camps. He saw that the emotional and physical pressures and the uncertainty and the brutality, this all led to abnormal behaviors. So Viktor Frankl, basically, he concluded from that made him think actually about the kids who end up in the counselor's office because of the behavioral issues or because of any other issues, why the students end up in the counselor office. That is basically because of the troublemaking, the weird comments, whatever their behavior is. They're bullying someone, they're shoplifting, they're getting into drugs, or whatever is the problem. There is always a cause and effect relationship. You can understand, you can, in this way, that there is a cause and effect relationship. So he says that his conclusion was basically that there is hardly a child or adolescent that is referred to a counselor who doesn't have a home situation that involves the traumatic stress in one way or another. So this is a recent study done in the COVID-19 that COVID is not a normal health disaster. The Atlantic COVID, it is an article written by the Atlantic that it is not a normal mental health disaster like that comes and goes, and this is kind of a disaster that is going to leave a mark for generations, for a couple of years. So that is why the health workers, the health experts are really worried that the lack of the school structure, the less social interaction between the kids, between the children, and they're also concerned that the children who are suffering from mental health disorders prior to the pandemic. American Psychological Association (APA) had proven a couple of years back that every 1 in 7 child has some psychological issues. So if those kids are going through this trauma of COVID-19, they will have even worse impact. So how can we save our generations? How can we what do we need to work? These are the factors. Now we understand that yes, these are the factors that are affecting. So it is very normal human reaction to feel anxious, depressed, isolated, stressed in this abnormal situation. Just like we say that in disasters, after tsunami, you can say, after earthquakes, after fires break out. So this COVID is also one of the disasters that is impacting the mental health in one way or the other. Now I am going to open a poll for you guys, and Maria is going to help you. I just want to know that if any one of you has lost anyone in this COVID war, or anyone you have been infected by it, or you have seen anyone suffer from COVID directly from in your close circle. So if you're yes, then write yes. I think there is a link. Maria will share it in the chat box, I think, and then you can share your experiences, yes and no, and then I will.
Yes, the link has been shared. Kindly use this link to participate in this poll. Thank you.
This also includes if you have seen anyone near, or like people, anyone's grandparents or friends or siblings or family or any members. You have, if you have seen any of those who have. How long I have to wait for this, Maria?
30 seconds, please. We have some answers in the chat box.
Okay, great.
Kindly use the link to navigate. Those who are using the chat box can also use the link provided. So we have more yes than no's, Ms. Amna?
Yes, exactly. And it is continuously rising as the people are giving their input. You can see that it's rising. So this is actually the current situation which we actually need to understand, and we need to work on it. Everyone around us and everyone is getting affected in one way or the other. If you are a student, you may be getting like increased anxiety regarding your academic work, difficulty coping because of the online studies, lack of social interaction and being off campus. Then next, the people are also having issues because of the part-time, like they are not able to go out and look for the job hunting activities are also like getting affected. So these are the things, and especially the students and the kids who are in hostels and they are isolated in the social distancing period. And if the whole family is but in the house, that is also problematic. So these are the various things. As we can see that 75, the last result was 76% of the population said yes, of our attendees said yes, they have been affected or they have seen or they have lost anyone. So these are all the things that are that is related to our mental health, and that is how our teenagers and our next generation, our children, are getting affected really badly in this. Now I have shared the screen of the Ipsos survey. It is actually so alarming that this survey was done last year, and half of the Ontario's children were showing mental health issues. And the 95% of the parents, actually this study was done, and they found out that there were behavioral changes from ranging from extreme outbursts to the drastic changes in the personality. So basically, now that we know, apart from that, CNN has also given many articles, as you know that and one more important thing was that this is also seen and quoted by health workers, that all those who are suffering, or all the teachers or parents or doctors or health workers, anyone who is directly in touch with these kind of experiences, they have seen that the sufferer or the people related to the sufferer, they either get PTSD, that is post traumatic stress disorder, or anxiety issues or behavioral issues. Even after the patient recovers, they get really, they are actually traumatized, and the people who see them suffer, they are also traumatized. So the factors and the things are quite obvious and very clear in these 1.5 years, that this is a really difficult time, and this is a thing that we cannot ignore. So the thing is now that what are the roles that we need to play? How are we? What do we need to do for this? What are the roles of the parents and the teachers? It should be. So the first thing is, which we always tell all the parents and all the you can say the couples or the teachers or the parents who contact us, we always tell them that the open communication is the first step. Now, how can you openly communicate in this time? We will guide you with a few steps, very basic ones and very easy ones. But we just need these reminders in our lives, basically. Stay present. Stay present means that if the person has suffered or the child has suffered, or if he has seen his parents or his grandparents or anyone around him suffer, you tell them that, okay, it is gone. The past is gone. And if they are worried about the future, for example, what about if there is a new strain? What about the fourth wave or third wave is coming? What will happen? So you can bring them back to the future, to the present. The future is not here yet, so they do not need to they do not need to focus on what is going to happen on in the future, because the uncertainty is making them or will make them more anxious. So it is important that if their attention is drifting to the future or to the past trauma, gently focus them on the present. Tell them, okay, all is well for today. So as long as everything is good today, be happy about it. Feel blessed about it. Then comes the next, that is practice mindfulness. What is mindfulness basically? Mindfulness is actually that you do exercises, you do things that help you live in the moment. This is form of a meditation basically. How can you do it? Do tell them to have yoga. You can do yoga. You can tell you can make a family circle kind of a thing and do meditation exercises. You can do breathing techniques. So these are the various things that actually reduces the anxiety and the feeling of the hopelessness because of the stresses around them, and that will actually lead them to they will worry less about the future and will worry less about what has happened in the past. So these are the mindfulness techniques that you need to practically apply in your life in these times. For example, I would just give few examples. I actually prefer giving examples because you can relate and connect quite easily if there are examples are quoted. Like last year was the first time when Cambridge exams were cancelled, and that was the time of extreme uncertainty for the kids, and they were really panicking about their future, and they were discussing and they were worrying about it. And I had a lot of cases being reported for this thing, that the kids are going into stress and anxiety, and they were like having panic attacks and all that. So what you can do being a teacher or a parent in that kind of a situation, how you practice mindfulness with them, relax them, okay, and talk to them, tell them that this is a global crisis and every child is going through the same. You're not alone in this. When you feel supported and when you feel that, okay, you're also part of a team, because they can't see around and they are locked in the homes and they don't have much interaction and all that. But that's your duty actually to tell them that this is kind of a global crisis. They are not alone. It's whatever is going to happen, it's going to happen globally. So everyone is suffering. You're not alone in this. So do not worry about this future thing and all those things. One more thing that a few techniques that we tell the teachers, especially for the elementary classes and for the junior classes, they can do is there are a few games that they can play with their students, like the flip the thought or destroy the worry weed. These kind of games will help the kids practice mindfulness. And this is really been proven that it is good, even if you're virtually teaching your kids, and even if you're online teaching them or you're physically teaching them, there are all ways that you can bring them back to mindfulness. Then coming to the next, that is talk therapy. It's very simple, that let them vent it out. Listen to them. Let them vent out their frustration. They cannot travel, they cannot move out a lot. The school, so they are getting frustrated on various things, on a lot of things. You need to listen to them with patience, because we are also suffering in one way or another. So we are also losing patience. The thing is, we need to realize this thing, that this is our next generation, and we need to make some sacrifices to save our next generation. School management should actually provide separate counseling programs for the kids, because if the kid is traumatized at home, if they have seen the whole family has suffered from somebody's loss, or from suffering of a COVID patient or something like that, they are actually like in the process of developing PTSD or anxiety attacks or anything like that. So in that case, they should have a very comfort zone provided by their teacher or the school management or school counselors or anyone, where they can go and take out their frustration and their insecurities, and they can lean over there. This is so important, because they need a trusting environment at this moment where they can go there, even if it is their home, well and good. But if all of the home and all of the family members are also like kind of suffering in the same scenario, then definitely they need some outside support, and that is best if it is provided by the schools. Okay, now coming to, and yes, of course, the physical or virtual school, they can actually teach the parents, especially the counselors, they can teach the students, the strategies like relaxation techniques, as I mentioned, the breathing techniques, the stress reducing exercises, problem solving things, and all those things. And that all is actually the need of the hour, basically. And the next thing is positive talk and forgiveness. What is positive talk? This is actually so important in this, in every time. This is very important because nowadays, so many cases I have seen, I have personally experienced that overthinking about something that you don't have a control on. What if this happens? What will happen if this happens? So we need to talk to the children in a very positive manner. If they are overthinking, we need to bring them back to the reality. And one thing is very important in the current scenario, in the current situation, is to belittle them. Do not humiliate them, because this time they are already very insecure. And if you are humiliating them because of anything, like you don't know what baggage they are carrying from their homes, you don't know what baggage they are carrying because of the online studies, you don't know how they are coping without their friends. So they are having a lot of burden on them. Do not belittle them. Do not um, like you do not need to tell them. If they are doing poor on a test, just forgive them. If they are making unhealthy choices, just forgive them. Support them. Your encouragement and support will make them feel more hopeful, and they will achieve better results. And results right now is should not be the focus. The mental health is actually more of an you can say that more important right now, rather than their academics, their grades, and all those things. I don't say that just forget about it, but there should be ways to handle it. You should prioritize that what is actually that is, because this is not a normal circumstances. As we started from that this is not a normal situation. This is not a normal scenario. Okay, now I usually do this exercise, and it's really a lot of fun, and I'm sure you all are going to really love it. We are going into the spin room, because once you parents and teachers and elders will apply this and start doing it with yourself, then you can help your kids do it in a better way, or your siblings or whoever you are connected to and whoever you want to help, basically. So this is called a spin room in your mind. You need to create a spin room in your mind. And what you will do is you will enter the spin room. You will think of a bad scenario. Okay. I will give an example so that it gets a little easier for you. You will imagine a scenario in your mind, and then you are going to flip your negative thought to a positive thought. That how can you look at that in a positive manner. Okay. So now I will give you the example. For example, your pet, your dog or your cat, he or she ran away. Okay. Your first thought will be, of course, you will feel sad, you will feel mad, and you will feel depressed and everything. But you know what? You have to spin your thought. Once, and I spin my thought, for example, and I enter into my spin room and I say, okay, my cat, my pet, my dog, he or she ran away, and I can save money on the food, pet food, and I can save the hassle of cleaning the litter. So this is how I saw this scenario in a positive manner. So it will not give me anxiety and you can say frustration and depression. So I would really appreciate if you can think of a scenario. You have 30 to 40 seconds, and write it. The link is given. Maria will share the link. You post it in here, and we will share how you spin the room in your mind. Let's start.
Kindly use the link provided in the chat box, please. Thank you.
Exams are cancelled and I have a chance of getting a bad grade. At least I don't have to study in the meanwhile. Okay, good. Saving transport costs during work from home. Very good. I would think the same, actually. Yeah. This was from Asma. Okay. Hurry up. Are you all overthinking? Should it take too long? Yeah, that's a statement actually. Every cloud has a silver lining. It doesn't give an example of how you are in a situation and how you are positively thinking. Easy to go on vacations, hilly mountains. Nice. I have lost my money. It might not be worthy for me. Lovely. I will save transport expenses. Good. It's raining today. I can't chill and rest today finally. Yeah, that's very right actually. Rest is also very important. Good. I will prefer to take two. I will prefer to take one or two more. Or should I close? Weather is too hot, but I can have cold water. Lovely. Or you can go to the swimming pool. Spend more time with family. Okay, that's great actually. Okay. I'll just share a joke with you all. Once I was doing this exercise with another seminar, and a person asked me that what if my wife runs away, and the whole hall was echoing with like laughter and all that. And yes, actually I actually answered him that again you're going to save money for food and clothes and purses and shoes. But to be very honest, definitely, I don't say that this can help in all scenarios. Of course, it cannot. If God forbid you are traumatized with something big, like God forbid something like losing a loved one, or something like something else, like it's kind of a big loss for you, then definitely these spinning rooms don't work. These are basically for the overthinking, or you can say they are basically for the uncertain situations that we are in these days. These are the thing. This is for the situations that you can help your kids, because kids these days are actually like kind of very getting extremely pessimistic because of their experiences, because of their study burden, because of academics and everything, and because of less socializing especially. So you can help them go make a spin room in their mind, build a spin room in their mind, and help them go to the visit the spin rooms off and on. Whenever they come with a complaint, or whenever they come with something like you can say some problem, then you can help them in this. Okay, now continuing, coming back to the points that we were discussing, that what the parents and teachers can continue doing. One very important thing is beware of their media intake. Please, 24/7, these kids are exposed to social media. They have their gadgets, they have their mobile phones, they have access to everything. Of course, this is the need of the hour. We just can't take it and lock it in the room, but we definitely need to see what they are taking, because the more they read about the pandemic, the more they are getting anxious and depressed. At least you make sure that they seek the information from the right source. They actually every Tom, Dick, and Harry is putting information these days. So at least you should monitor this thing. And if you feel that some news or some channel or some media is making them anxious, you can at least make them busy in some other activity for the time being. At least tell them to shut down the PC at that time, shut down the TV or shut down the phone, whatever is the source of anxiety. This is very important for these days. Then coming to the next point, that is keeping social relationships. You know what? It's really actually very interesting that we always, before this pandemic, I have heard this from so many people, that the people used to think that social bonding, we always thought that social bonding is a luxury. But when it was deprived, when we were deprived from it, then we actually realized that it is a biological basis. There is a desire in human beings to socialize, and it is very important for the developing brains. It makes us feel connected. It makes us feel secure. Actually, the connections make us feel secure. And keeping social relationships, as I have seen, I don't need to go into depth in that way, because I've already seen that many families, many people have already worked out having family calls, having calls on Skype, meetings, Zoom, all those things, texting the friends and the family members, and they are better in touch than before this pandemic. So this has already been taken care of. But the interesting study that I would like to share is, it was found that the young people who are lonely have 3 times more likelihood of getting depression in the future. And it could last at least for 9 years. So just imagine the child who is already 9, who he will take up this pandemic trauma up to 18 years. And these are just speculations. It can be worse than that. And we don't want that, really. And this wave of anxiety caused by this pandemic, plus the consequences of social isolation, it's such a horrible combination that we actually need to work on this thing. And we need to make ways of socializing. And alhamdulillah, good to know that we have already worked on this thing. Now coming to the next thing, that is following a routine. This is where we are really, really badly lagging. Whenever some teenager or some parents call me and I ask them that, what is the routine of your child? They very candidly and very easily say that the child, a few days back, a child was telling me, I was asking him how many meals you are taking, how much hours of sleep you are taking. And it's very common that we are awake all night because we don't have any schools, or we don't take the online schools that seriously, or we have late school. So we are awake all night, and then we sleep in the morning, and then we wake up again we take naps, or we take only one meal in a light lunch, and then we have a dinner. So we are on 2 meals and something like that. You know what? The mood and food connection is really, really real. So make sure whatever and they are eating, at least try to make it a little more healthy, because this unhealthy food, this junk food, is also pushing them towards depression and anxiety. And the regularity brings comfort. This people do not actually believe, but actually this is a fact, that when you are regular in a routine, then you are more comfortable. Sometimes waking up early, sometimes waking up late. These all things, this also creates anxiety in a person. So you make time for them, you laugh with them, you listen to them, tell them to take good shower if they are like under pressure because of academics or because of exams or test or anything. Tell them to take hot shower. Tell them to take proper sleep. At least 7 hours of sleep is very important. Tell them to take 3 times meal. Tell them to do exercise, walk if they can do, or if any exercise they want to do at home, and if they cannot go out because of lockdown or whatever restrictions. So, but this is really important. Now coming to the role of the school counselor. Actually, everyone has different strengths. Being teachers, being parents, we know that one kid is different from the other kid, because they are inborn nature and nurture factor both contribute here, and everyone has their own strength. So the parents and teachers, the kids spend most of the time with teachers and parents. These are the two people who can actually tell that what is their natural talent, what child's skills, what are their abilities, what are their accomplishments. That will help them choose their majors. That will help them, like you can say that it will be a guidance for them. So this is actually kind of important to see. Like, for example, if we from very beginning, I can see when we talk to the parents and when we discuss issues with them, then they can at a very small age, they can tell that if he or she is good in calculations, his maths is really good. He doesn't have interest in maths. He doesn't find it good. He finds it boring. Yes, he's good with history. He likes to read more about history. He wants to keep updated, and he is more like into media and something like that. So the parents and teachers can tell this in a better way. And it's important for the future reference and for the future guidance. It's really important. It's really good. Then coming to one of the branches of this role of the school counselor is also that discover, develop, and apply. That is, many students are actually uncertain. They sometimes they do not know what their strength is. Sometimes they do not feel comfortable talking about it. Maybe because it is not acceptable. For example, if a girl or boy, they are interested, or they are interested in arts and crafts, or if they are interested in ballet dancing, for example, but it's not acceptable for their family, then what is they might not talk about it. So it is the role of the counselor basically to talk about these things. It's important for the counselor to identify these trends and like make them help them succeed and stay motivated in this. It's important to know what they enjoy, what they like doing. And very interesting thing is you can get these kind of information not only from parents and teachers, but from their siblings and their friends. Friends are sometimes such good, are in such, you can say, good coordination with each other, that if the kid cannot talk to you openly or secretively, the friend can talk to you. So give them the confidence that even their friends can come to you and talk to you about their preferences and their strengths and their interests and all that. Very, very important. And the last point is individuality. Individuality is actually, we're all human. And this applies not only to the children, but it applies to the elders also. Everyone responds differently to different situations because everyone has a different perception. The feelings, the feelings and the reactions, the emotions, everything is different. Sometimes the people, for example, there is a traumatic event, God forbid, there is like a tsunami, or you can say there is a loss of a loved one because of this pandemic or anything else, a bad news breakout. Everyone will have their own ticking clock. This is what we call in psychology, everyone has their own ticking clock. Like, for example, for post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, it can start in 1 week, it can start immediately, it can start after a couple of years. You do not know. So basically, everyone has their own ticking clock. And we need to keep this thing in mind that for right now, the situation is not normal. Okay. So everyone will have some effects on their mental health. So it is important. It's really important that we keep this thing in mind. Why? Because children have their own pace of healing and recovery, and it's like you cannot say that like 1.5 years is already gone. We don't know how much future. So if this pandemic takes 2 to 3 years, or 1.5 to 2 years, how long is the time does not matter. But this time is traumatic for most of the globally. Like it's not only traumatic for us, it's traumatic for everyone around the globe. And this memory will stay with you. The incident cannot be erased. Everyone moves at their own pace, and everyone, as I mentioned, that they have their own ticking clock. But we need to focus on the mental health right from now. There and then we need to work on it so that it doesn't have very long consequences and very long destruction. Now coming to the very last wrapping up of our, I'm just going to wrap up the webinar. Actually, working for the last 1.5 years with this pandemic, and before that with the children and teenagers and others, I would, as a speculation, it's not a work done, but I would really like to suggest a few things that I think we need to change about in our system, in our you can say in our systems and our managements. First of all, right now the children needs to be secure. They need to feel secure about and the uncertainty to end. They want their situation to be fixed. Now that we cannot change the situation, at least we can help them feel secure. We can help them understand that this will pass. This will pass. It's not forever. Even looking at the past pandemics, we can quote the years or the figures on that everything pass. All the difficulties, they do pass. So this is the thing that we really need to do with our children, with our next generations. Secondly, looking at the current scenario, I would really like to make a request to the, you can say, the managements and the schools and teachers and everyone, that we do not know when the curve is not normal for the child, when they are going through the trauma. So reduce the exam pressure. You can put it like in a weekly test kind of situation. You can change it to semester kind of situation, semester exam, or a monthly exam kind of thing. But it should not be based on an yearly basis, right? I have seen many schools already working on this, and that's really good. But many schools are still based on the annual system, and that's just not fair, especially in this condition. And the last point I wanted to, I think that that is also going to help is to have some aptitude tests for the kids for elementary and the higher grades, so that we can decrease their subjects. We can have their aptitude test, we can have their IEP, the individual educational program test, and the consistent grades can also like help us find out, and so that we can decrease the subjects load. Because right now the mental health should be our first preference. It should be our priority. Academics is our priority, but it should come after the mental health, because mental health is eventually gonna affect their physical health, and physical health is gonna affect their mental health, as we did the link right in the beginning. I will conclude the webinar with the statement. I love this statement from Fred Roger. He says that anything that is human is mentionable, and anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. When we talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. The people we trust with that important talk can help us know that we are not alone. And this is the need of the hour, actually, that we need to be empathetic toward others. We need to show empathy and sympathy towards the other people. As it was a couple of days back, I was reading, the Director General of WHO said, empathy is the medicine free of cost that you can give to everyone. And I just loved it. And honestly, I think that yes, this is the thing that we need to focus on right now. Our loved ones, our friends, our families, our students, our elders, our youngers, everyone needs empathy right now. Nothing else. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it was useful for you all, for you people. And I would love to have a feedback, and these are my contacts. If you are have any questions or queries, you can ask me in the chat box or after, whatever is convenient for you.
Thank you, Amna, for enlightening us today. I would request the attendees, if you have any questions, you can ask now, or you even open your mic and ask Ms. Kamna directly. Any questions for Ms. Amna? Okay, we have one question. How can we deal with slow learners?
Okay, I think my mic is still unmute. You can hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. Actually, slow learning is an entirely different branch, and it's a different field. As I mentioned, that there are individualized educational programs. Nowadays, actually, the kids who are slow learners are identified at a really, really, you can say, young age. Like 5 to 7, they are identified and they are labeled, and the people start working with them. As I have seen, I personally know a couple of mothers who are working with Down syndrome. I know mothers who are working with autistic kids. I know mothers who are working with speech therapy. But this is a situation that is not related to pandemic, right? This is a situation that is for the whole life. The best thing is you address it before it's too late. The moment when you realize that if a child has slow learning or has milestones issue, you should immediately start working on them. And they, in every part of the globe, I was actually attending a global, it was kind of a webinar also, seminar to better to put it in that way. And there, all the people were working on inclusive education. And that was actually like, how can you make the slow learner work in a normal school? So this is not the like it's not 1970s or 1980s that you keep the slow learners apart and you keep the normal graph kids in one place. It's no more those times. So the best thing is that you get them evaluated on the right age. The moment you find out that they have milestones issue, you directly consult the like you can say the professionals in this field. I hope that is clear. If you need any further assistance on that, you can email me. I can guide you with whoever is working in this slow learning field, I can say.
Thank you so much. Do we have any more questions? You are free to open your mics at this point and ask Ms. Amna directly.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I would like to thank you for the presentation. It was super informative for me. Thank you for the information. I would like to ask you about the emotional intelligence and its impact on mental health.
You're talking about EQ, right?
Yes, emotional intelligence of students.
Oh, okay. Yes. Actually, you have we have developed tests for that. As far as I know, emotional intelligence has it's a work that is being done already, and there is a lot in that. It is actually how you. It is also a positive way to relieve the stress in the students, and how you can help them overcome the challenges that they are feeling. And it's as you can see. Actually, can I have your good name?
It's Imini, I guess. Am I?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Everything. Actually, you know what? It has a lot of steps in it. Basically, emotional intelligence we use for leadership. It's very good when you see that a child has leadership skills, or if you want to develop a leadership skill in one of your students or in yourself, or to guide anyone. So it is like how you get aware, you get self-awareness, and how you regulate yourself, and then how and why you need to motivate someone. Right? And again, the very important role is of empathy in this. Even in emotional intelligence, empathy is very important. And then you help the child develop social skills in that field. You're welcome. Anyone else?
Mariam, do you want to ask a question?
No, thank you.
Okay. Do we have any more questions before we end the session? Okay. Thank you so much, Amna. Thank you for a very informative session, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just right for the scenario that's going around us. It's very unfortunate, but hopefully we are off with it soon. Thank you so much once again for your time with us at our platform, and we look forward to see you in future webinars.
Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me the platform. I hope everyone enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I kindly request all the attendees to use the link provided in the chat box for their attendance and certificate before you leave this webinar. Thank you so much for coming in today, and we look forward to see you in our future webinars soon. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye-bye.